Good morning, friends. Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, Adab. What am I going to talk today? This is the most vital topic which every bungalow owner, not only residents, I'm surprised even the IDS officers, even the retired departmental staff and the present working staff has been asking, Mr. Das, why don't you explain or you define this word called grant? Friends, do I call this a grant or just should I call it an old grant? It's amazing. So finally, I'm taking this topic today and we'll be discussing in this video what is a grant and how it has been defined in various books of the British, which I laid hands during my research. So coming to the first book written by Sir Baden-Powell, Land System of British India, it was covering all 4 volumes. I'm going to talk of the Punjab side because since my Ambala was falling in that, it specifically defines grant for the period era in Punjab. Powell states that grants were actually revenue assignments. The revenue to be paid by the grantee to its ruler or government. Simple. If I explain it in Hindi, it's lagan to be paid on that land which you were holding in the form of a grant. So you were called a grantee. There were grants given by the rulers, which were mostly revenue-free grants. Rulers, which rulers? Rulers prior to the British when they put their foot on this country. Or the Akbari system, which we, the Todamal grants, which we call off. So we were all exempted from this lagan. So British government when moved in, they seized all these revenue-free assignments, which were by themselves called in this book called old grants. Now these old grants were converted into new grants by the British government and proper documentation was done. Deeds were written, specific area, what was the grant, whom it was it to the community, was it to the zamindar, jagirdar, rotwari. I'll explain all these. So, and this has been reflected in one of the Financial Commissioner's circular, number 37. So, these revenue-free grants were converted by the Britishers called old grants. There was another book which I laid hands through a lady in Landore, that was about the Wells settlement of 1840. Again, he also states that these grants were basically collection of revenue and there were various kinds of grants and most of these grants were attached to the soil. They were not above the soil. Because if you even see the GGO, it says it granted us land. Now, land to build a house. So, we were given a grant in the form of a land. So, the Britishers in that 1840 Wells settlement report, it very clearly said in some of the Wazibullas which were notified at that time that the Britishers only said that they will retain if there is any downfall stream water if they require, minerals, and these will be converted into new grants. This was in the report. In the same book, he is mentioning, Mr. Well, that he was unable in 1840 also to lay hands on any of these grants given by the Governor General. So he came across some grants in the form of conditions, that was 1838 and 1840. So when he was reviewing these papers, which were unsigned mostly, it only spoke of revenue. So these revenue surveys which were done way back in February 1880, they called these grants Arcadia. Now this word has been explained, please. Arcadia, Arcadia. This was explained in the British law that these were basically grants in the Southeast Asia given to the natives by their rulers. So grants were always there. We were old grant, converted. There were these revenue settlements done by the Britishers because they wanted to impose a lagan on these lands. So it went on like this. So the letter which he laid hands on, where he got this word Arcadia, in that letter he says in para 5 that a grantor should be called upon. Now, who's the grantor or the grantee? That if the government requires to make roads, it reserves the right for that. Similarly, if there is a stream, it reserves the right to those riverbeds or to those streams for need of water, and the grant or a grantee could continue to live in its grant, where he was considered to be a revenue grant now, imposed with some lagan. The third thing what they asked in this very grant of 1838-40 was that, okay, fine, if we need a piece of land for encamping ground or some public work, we will again try and acquire it or resume it from you. So these two words were not used, but I am suffixing them. How would they take it? So meaning hereby, three rights were taken in the 1838 and 1840 grants. Willingly people were ready, or the Raja or the rulers or the were ready to give it. A similar document was, or a correspondence came in his hand of a grant of 1845. Now this grant again said something extra to the two original things were taken. It even said if there is any mineral produced from the land or the soil would also be of the government. So meaning by anything in the soil. And this is basically, if you read, any of your advocates would understand that these three rights were basically taken by the British during the, even in the Grant Act it is written, of 1895. So now Mr. Wells says, in the absence of evidence to the contrary, it must be resumed that the term grants is used in its establishment revenue notions, that the full rights over the land in question was subjected to reservations of these three rights by the government, and it could be inherited by its predecessors. So by law, the use of the word grant ipso facto avoided the necessity of any condition in the body of the grant. It simply meant that the embodiment of such condition in later grants in the area cannot be legitimately be used as an argument to prove on the principle of exception, probate legimia, that no such reservation was intended in the Wells Settlements grant. So what were these uses? What were these terminological legal words? It simply said that the landholder or a proprietor or a grant or a grantee had some reservations, conditions of his grants. Otherwise, it was a contract between the government and the grantee, which I, in Baden-Powell's report, had said that they were new documentations done of these new grants. Now here it goes to state that these grants were taken over from the zamindars by these grantees, and they will be subjected to the same rights. Now, who took over these grants from the zamindars is a multi-million dollar question. Try and understand by yourself. If you cannot, get back to me. How these grants were in the hands of the British officers. Now I'll explain in the second part. This is the third definition of the grant. This is from an Imperial Gazetteer of India. It says that deduction by way of assignment of revenue, land revenue receipt or peculiarly orient in origin, namely that due to the practice of assigning or alienation to individuals the rights of government to collect its demand from the land, or of permitting individual to hold their land wholly or partially free of revenue. Once again, it was that there were some grants which had to be kept free of revenue, and there were some which could be imposed onto revenue. So again, it was a grant which simply used the word assignment of revenue. Now I will talk of my cantonment Ambala. There were n number of grants which came down from the native rulers, and a huge amount of time was spent in those days by the Britishers to determine what were these grants, whether they were revenue free grants, inheritable grants, grants to some kind. So all these grants were then converted into new grants. And these new grants were basically given the right of inheritance either. Could be sold, could be inherited from the native ruler. So they owe many causes, but mostly service of any kind to government or community. And although the service is often of an intangible nature, or now has become ancient history, the maintenance of these grants were recognized as fair charge on the state. So, how did the ruler give? It only gave because of some services or something like that. This is explained in the Punjab settlement manual very clearly, that the same definition of grant or grantee is explained in this Act number 1 of 1869, passed by the Governor General of India in Council for Awadh Estate. Grantee means any person upon whom the proprietary rights in the estate has been conferred. Now by a special grant of British government. That's very important. These were all old grants and the British converted them into new grants. And the new grant very clearly said that every grantee will have a proprietary right, and whose name is entered in the 5th and 6th of the list definition of estate, which I had explained, if you remember, in the commercial activity video, that what does an estate means. The taluka or immovable property acquired or held by the talukdar or grantee in the manner mentioned in section 345, or the immovable properties conferred by special grant of British government upon the grantee. Where is this evidence led ever in the court? Has Purushottam Das, Specie Inglesia, or go back to Satish Chandra, or go back to anybody, Chitra Kumari versus Union of India. Name it to anybody, the case of Peshawar. I have a case of Robinson Carey, 1865, Barrackpur. The ministry is not willing to get the definition of grant. The statute says if the definition of grant is not coming old grant, we can use a statute in a different law to define the same grant, terminology grant. But these grants do not come under the Grant Act. That's very important. So what do we do? Now here I'll quote you, very important friends. I had a conference meeting, way back in I think 2012, 11. I think 11 or, somewhere 10 or 11. Mr. Lekhi, who was a standing counsel for Union of India and was a CEO also at one time, and Mr. Srinivasan, and our former Chief Justice, Mr. Verma. I was against this judiciary, but Mr. Verma just explained me in one way, have you led this evidence? I said, no. So he says, then simple, I gave a lot of judgments when I was the Madras High Court Chief Justice. Fight it on lost grants. Fight it on this presumption title. So friends, I have made a profile on lost grants from the British era, which can be shared if people call me up. So this is one way of explaining your grants. I hope you can. Please talk to me after this. Thank you. Good day.